Welcome back, folks, to the Butcher of Wall Street. You guys are probably not going to be surprised, but Robinhood, of course, has been naked shorting quite a bit and allowing the naked shorting to occur. But before I do that, you know what? Since this is so interesting, and they even pulled the buy button again, and I'm talking about right now in 2025, I think I'm going to spark up a little cigar here. And I'll give people a chance to join since this is a live. Just popped it on. Didn't tell anybody about it, so welcome on in. Welcome back to the stream, my friends. Hey, what's going on, my friend? That heavy D, Nicholas. Welcome back, my friend. Nicholas, one of our founding investors, one of our lead investors, as a matter of fact, in Lit Exchange. Welcome, brother. It's great to see you. Hold on, Colin. You got the news here, right here on my, in case you don't feel like waiting around, it's right up there on the screen, but guarantee you there's a lot more to it than just that. What's going on, Giles? It's good to see you, my friend. Been seeing you for years. It's wonderful to be here with you once again. Queen B, I saw you were smoking a nice little cigarillo earlier as well. Figured I'd spark up a cigar because why not? This is a perfect occasion to do it, especially since we've got a super short surprise for you here in just a moment. But currently, a lot of people are saying that both Robinhood and Fidelity, as a matter of fact, have restricted their trading, at least in certain stocks. Hey, Jason, Brian, Al Capone, Todd, hello. What's going on, Travis? Much love from Texas out to Wyoming. Here's my friend. Let's get this little sticker tag off of there. Here we've got the Flor de los Antillas, my father's cigars. Flor de los Antillas. Smells pretty good. Yeah, super short. Maybe not a naked short, but a super short surprise here. What's going on? Purified water, 16 ounce, 16.9 ounce. A clever name. Greg, what's up, my friend? Welcome back. Going on, KP. Kansas City sent its love. Thank you, my friend. Dallas, Texas sends it right back. E-Dog, welcome. Check this out. Check this out. Before I get started, Genius Group, GNS stock ticker. Retail investors have been saying that both Robinhood and Fidelity are pulling their buy button. This was just recently. I'm not talking about back in the day or 2021 or anything. I'm talking about right now, 2025. And as you can see here, January of this year, the SEC nailed Robinhood for suspicious activity reporting, for identity theft protection lacking, for unauthorized access to Robinhood systems. And they had massive cybersecurity vulnerabilities, allowing off-channel communications in which they allowed people to violate record-keeping provisions in federal securities laws, and the retention of brokerage data. They failed to maintain copies of operational databases that were required by law, and they failed to maintain customer communications. In addition, Robinhood Securities committed the following violations: electronic blue sheets. You know anything about markets? And if you don't, this is a big fucking deal. For more than 5 years, Robinhood Securities failed to provide accurate securities trading information known as blue sheet data, to the Securities Exchange Commission. Robinhood admitted the SEC's findings concerning the blue sheets. The fractional share trading and stock lending. In connection with them, those programs, they failed to comply with regulations show the framework designed to address abusive short selling practices. From May 2019 through December 2023, Robinhood violated Reg Show's closeout, order marking, and locate requirements. I'll explain exactly what that means. They also violated rules 200G, 203B1, and 204A of Reg Show, and a bunch of other ones there as well. What this here means, though, in regards to from May 2019 to 2023, Robinhood Securities violated the closeout, order marking, and locate requirements. They allowed brokers, they as a broker allowed hedge funds and family offices to naked short stocks without locating the shares. And if they violated the closeout provision of Reg Show, that means that they also failed to deliver. And when those hedge funds and family offices and other shorts failed to deliver, Robinhood did not force them to close their short positions. When you naked short something, or let me put it this way, when you short something as a firm, a hedge fund, you take shares that you don't own, that you borrowed from somebody, say they were borrowed from Robinhood, and then sell them. And then later on, buy them back at a lower price in order to close out that position. But what Robinhood is allowing here by violating these Reg Show securities, Robinhood was allowing hedge funds and family offices to sell stocks short, meaning they sold stocks that they did not own. And these firms, when they didn't close out and deliver on those shares within the T plus 35, the 35 trading days that are required, Robinhood did not force close their positions. So, if you're an investor in companies like GameStop, AMC, and so on, and you guys understand that they were and are still incredibly, massively shorted. A big part of the reason why sometimes the stock price didn't go up after the T plus 35 failure to deliver trading window had passed was because Robinhood, as proven here in their admission to the Securities Exchange Commission, did not properly close out the positions of those hedge funds and firms that were shorting and did not deliver the shares back to Robinhood. It was Robinhood's job to force close those positions, even if it caused skyrocketing prices in the securities. I'm talking lots of stocks. It could be ETFs like XRT, Silver ETF SLV, GameStop, AMC, you name it. Any heavily shorted security, Tesla, the list goes on. If you can think of it in your head, you already know what I'm talking about. Are you surprised? Because I know I'm not surprised in the slightest. But here, this is a really good post from franknez.com. Robinhood has become the center of allegation relating to illegal short selling, particularly naked short selling, in this latest scandal, they said. The focus here of this speculation centers on Genius Group. GNS is the stock ticker. And GNS signaled their intent to pursue legal action against entities involved in alleged naked short selling and spoofing of their stock. The company posted a statement from Wes Christian of Christian Attar lawsuit saying, in relation to the company's lawsuit alleging naked short selling and evidence of spoofing, Wes Christian of Christian Attar has provided the company with an update that the legal team is in the process of completing the investigation and updated damages report, and anticipates the lawsuit will be filed in the coming weeks. Here it is right there. Directly from their website as well, screenshotted on June 5th of this year. Now, this announcement has fueled speculation, says Frank Nez, amongst retail investors that platforms like Robinhood and Fidelity, which have recently restricted buy orders for GNS stock, could be targeted in the impending litigation. Now, we know it's been proven here that even though they did not admit guilt, that the SEC's order showed that violations by Robinhood related to this following conduct has occurred. And Robinhood agreed to pay another $45 million in combined civil penalties to settle a range of SEC charges. Inaccurate blue sheet trading data, allowing fractional share trading and stock lending practices to be abused by naked short sellers, and from May 2019 through December 2023, violating Reg Show's closeout, Reg Show's order marking, and Reg Show's locate requirements. Order marking means marking shorts as long. Now, a short, in case you're wondering, is a liability, right? It's something that has to be paid. And what they did literally, they marked it as an asset. And this prevented Robinhood from being margin called. This prevented Robinhood from having to put up additional collateral. And it prevented Robinhood from being fire sold. They would have had to fire sale a lot of other assets in order to come up with the cash. They would have had to force close the positions of a lot of these hedge funds and firms that were shorting companies like GameStop and AMC. So that right there is, in my opinion, undeniable. When they're willing to pay $45 million to settle this knowing that this is what was going on. Because they realize that paying $45 million is going to be cheaper than if they end up having to go to court with the Securities Exchange Commission and potentially losing a lot more money. And that being said, I've got a little short something here for you. You guys need to check out Lit Exchange.
Bro, what happened? I was rich, but then my brokerage restricted trading and I lost it all.
Lit Exchange. Let's get lit. No dark pools, no restrictions.
You heard the man. Let's get lit. Avoid payment for order flow. Avoid dark pools. Avoid market manipulation. Avoid the synthetic share creation that's currently happening here. Real quick, I'll just touch base and say that so far, over 350 retail investors have invested over $750,000 in Lit Exchange so far. And you have until August before this closes, and you will no longer be able to become a founding member, become a founding investor. And that means receiving equity, receiving shares in the company well before the company's launch and IPO. So you can join the waitlist now at litexchange.com. From there, you can view our SEC filings. There's buttons there to view invest in Lit Exchange here. It takes you to the pitch deck, the business plan, SEC filings, and so on. So that's something you need to check out if you haven't already.
SROs and the SEC.
Hold on, buddy. I'm going to get to you. Don't forget it. Let's see. Mick says, we all provide evidence in the stocks we own and prove we own the float. They would settle in a heartbeat. We can sell at $100 a share. I'd be happy. Good for you, my friend. But I personally would be happy at somewhere probably about 50 times that number. Let's put it that way. Brian, cool commercial. Manifest says, love the commercial. Brian, August 8th actually is the final day. So August 8th, everything has to be, subscribed, pledged, and funded if you do want to become a founding member of Lit Exchange. Anything after August 8th will not be accepted, just so you know. So the minimum investment is $500. The maximum investment is $50,000. And every $500 increment will get you another unit. One unit is worth many shares. I don't have an exact number of shares yet because it will be based on the number of shares we IPO with upon IPO in the next 2 to 3 years as planned. But the controversy with Robinhood and Fidelity restricting buying in GNS stock, amongst other stocks, is something that people continue to report difficulties with. And this is obviously something that's very reminiscent of what we saw with GameStop, AMC, MMTLP, and so on. It's happened with many, many stocks over the years. And Robinhood continuously seems to be at the forefront of restricting these trading, as many others. Many of these other brokerages. 50 different companies were restricted from trading in 2021 by Robinhood, Schwab, E-Trade, Webull, the list goes on, by almost every single broker. Today's developments by the retail investor community highlight this parallel, as noted. Last week, Fidelity blocked buy orders for the company's stock, and Robinhood did the same recently, with some investors still experiencing being unable to purchase shares of GNS stock. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me, folks? It's 2025. Robinhood has the backing of Susquehanna and other multi-billion-dollar firms, and they're still unable to get their shit together. Robinhood, in my opinion, is a dumpster fire behind that Wendy's parking lot.
Bro, what happened? I was rich, but then my brokerage restricted trading and I lost it all.
Lit Exchange. Let's get lit. No dark pools, no restrictions.
One user at Ekman posted, why are you up to your old tricks turning off the buy button? You're a shady as fuck trading platform. Whoa, hold on. Hold on. You're going to have to go downstairs, sweetie. I'm sorry, baby girl. I'm sorry, sweetie. Sorry, man. Girl can't come over here half naked. Send that baby back downstairs. Go be with her mom. She's supposed to be in her bed and sleeping anyway. Another, Reginald Larson, called for intervention stating, President, sir, are you not seeing this? Likely talking to Donald Trump. Please stop market corruption. Americans know, he said. We know. Frank continues to say that these sentiments reflect a growing distrust amongst retail traders who see the buy order restrictions as potentially protecting institutional investors at their expense. Naked short selling, practice of selling shares that have not been borrowed or insured to exist, and spoofing, the manipulation of market prices through fake orders, are at the heart of Genius Group's allegations, stock ticker GNS. The company's legal team, led by Wes Christian, is reportedly finalizing an updated damages report with claims ranging from $251 to $263 million. That's a big bucks right there. But sadly, even if GNS Group wins that, those funds don't go to the retail investors that have lost out. It goes to GNS Group, the company. And the only way to stop these kinds of things from happening is to stop enabling the market makers like Citadel and Virtue from buying your orders from companies like Robinhood and Webull and Schwab and so on, because they all use payment for order flow to buy your trade orders, then they front run your trade, make a ton of money on it, make sure you don't make shit, and then process the orders in their dark pools. It's called internalization. The internalization allows them to issue shares that don't exist. This is called synthetic share creation. That artificially dilutes the stock price of the stock that you're investing in. That makes sense? It's really that simple. Whereas Lit Exchange, by not routing your orders to the highest bidder, Citadel or Virtue, and routing them to lit markets, will then prevent synthetic share creation, prevent the dilution of your stock, and prevent the hiding of your orders and the front running of your trades by said market maker. It's a win-win. See, Curtis Co. posted breaking Robinhood blocks buy orders for breaking Robinhood blocks buy orders for Genius Group, GNS. Someone is in trouble. Oh, wow. Surprise, surprise. Listen to this.
SROs and the SEC need actively to pursue ongoing chronic and serial
What is going on here?
short selling infractions. Next, meaning
Start that
have
over
to
there
be
for you guys.
SROs and the SEC need actively to pursue ongoing chronic and serial short selling infractions. Next, meaningful penalties have to be imposed for violations of existing Reg Show requirements. Third, the SEC should define and punish as fraud abusive naked short selling practices. Next, the SEC should act quickly and forcefully. Otherwise, state regulation is more likely, and as I've already said, I don't think that's the best way to go. Our capital markets work because they're governed by uniform rules from Portland, Maine to Portland, Oregon. State regulation means fragmented requirements, practices, and procedures, and could cause loss of our competitive edge. Next, the SEC should eliminate the option market maker exception.
There you go.
It isn't
That
demonstrable.
market maker exemption is what Robinhood allowed to be manipulated through Reg Show 203B 1, 2, and 3.
Of any value.
And the market maker exemption, in case you did not know, allows a market maker to sell stock that they don't have. That means naked short selling, and it's legal. Can you fucking believe that? It's been legal since before 2008. And when they enacted reforms, Dodd-Frank Act and other reforms in 2008, they made it so that the market makers could still continue this, literally what it's called as the Bernie Madoff exception.
And it risks facilitating illegal activity. Next, Reg Show should impose firm locate requirements as a condition precedent to all short sales. Next, Reg Show should cover securities that are also traded in the pink sheets. Naked shorts occur in shares of small, thinly traded issuers, and those are likely to trade in the pink sheets. Next, chronic and unjustified violations of
This here was the former SEC chairman, Harvey Pitt, talking in 2007 about the exact same thing that Robinhood just got caught doing for several years, all the way here up until 2025. The thing that franknez.com is now talking about, retail investors and others might be suing Robinhood and Fidelity for doing. The same thing that Robinhood just agreed to settle with the SEC for $45 million for doing. Obviously, they settled for a reason, right? What do you think that reason is? because they understand that they committed these violations and that they did not close out their shares. They did not close out the outstanding shorts properly of their hedge funds that they were lending to. They understand that they were not following the requirements and they were allowing the abusive short selling to happen. And they were allowing your shares in their share lending program to be lent out without your permission. Robinhood allowed your shares to be lent out without your permission and then didn't pay you your percentage for those being lent. Webull, as a matter of fact, just got nailed for doing the same thing. Drop a like on this video if you can. It will do me and everyone else a big favor in helping us to spread this with others. Mick, welcome to the channel and goodbye, my friend.
+3 settlement rules should be punished. Next, before brokers are allowed to borrow margined shares, they should make clear disclosure and give investors the opportunity to opt out. Next, securities lending should occur openly and transparently at arm's length prices, enhancing returns, increasing efficiency, promoting valid short selling, and curbing abuses. Next, the NSCC should allow members to settle borrowing and lending activity through these facilities that I've just mentioned, so accurate accounting and data is available to market participants and regulators. Next, shady activities thrive in shadowy market corners. Exchanges and other markets should be required to report the securities on daily threshold lists and aggregate daily volume of fails for each such security.
2007, they've been talking about this since. Right now, short positions only have to be reported twice a month, every 15 days. And in 2007, former SEC chairman was still saying that they should be reported every single day. But of course, that would make it a lot harder to scam the market. That would make it a lot harder for some of these firms to illegally manipulate markets. That's the only reason they don't do it.
And finally, Form 13F institutional investor reports should disclose both short and long positions. That would provide issuers and investors with a better understanding of trading activity.
Now that right there, the Coalition Against Phantom Trading, has been literally talking about the things we've been talking about since 2007. And it's because of those things and the obviousness that nothing is going to change unless we change it ourselves. If we stop routing orders to those market makers, well, they can't manipulate your share and your orders. That's potentially millions, if not even hundreds of millions or billions of shares and many, many orders that would never be manipulated by those market makers if they can't buy them from Webull and Robinhood and others using payment for order flow. They can't process them in their dark pools. They can't front run your trades. They can't internalize your trades. They can't lump your trades together all into one big order and pass it through a dark pool almost invisibly to make sure that it barely, if at all, impacts the stock price in a tiny fraction of the way that it would if all those people would have actually bought on lit exchanges. That's the whole point here. Do you understand? It's a lot more than just, we need to do something here. Let's go talk to the SEC. It's no, we need to do something. Let's go actually make it happen. NWBO right now just came out with, by the way, that's Northwest Biotherapeutics. This is another company. NWBO is the stock ticker that is currently being represented by Wes Christian. And Hoffman here on Twitter posted that they are aggressively going after the defendants in naked short selling case in discovery. And in case you are unaware, let me go over here and pop this open, and I'll show you on the Lit Exchange profile, because that's actually where the article is. NWBO has accused many, many market making firms, actually, of naked shorting their stock. Take a look at it here. Here it is. A biotech company, NWBO, accused Citadel Securities, Susquehanna, and other Wall Street firms, market makers, of driving down its stock price through a series of illicit trades. And Lit Exchange first reported on this back in December of 2022. And so far it's been, I'm not logged into their account right now. Actually, I am, but that's over here. And that's exactly what's happening. Finally, today, those defendants tried to get it pushed out of court. And the judge said, not happening. You guys are going to discovery. So it was a huge win for NWBO. And you can see here, it says, plaintiff's request for production served more than a month ago, May 13th of this year, meets and confers with the protocol provided to defendants in the trading data field detail, right? Switch the page here. So it's obvious here that they are aggressively moving towards discovery, because they know that if they get their hands on this data, there's going to be a lot of documents that are produced that are going to show a big form of the manipulation. And we're talking like, look, Instinet is here. Most people don't realize that Instinet was the number one firm, the number one market maker that was margin called and at risk of insolvency during the 2021 AMC and GameStop debacle. Most people don't know that, but that's a fact. And I'm talking way more money, billions and billions of dollars that they were margin called, that they stood to lose had they not forced all these brokerages to restrict trading. But they have these relationships with these brokerages because they're owned by companies like Susquehanna. Robinhood is, for example. So anyways, in case you guys are getting fake messages from myself or from Lit Exchange app, please note that Lit Exchange app is a verified organization on X and has a gold check mark. That I personally have a blue check mark as well as an affiliate tag here on my profile. So if you don't see the blue check mark and the affiliate that leads directly to Lit Exchange when you click it, that is not my account. Lit Exchange is hiring for all sorts of different positions, customer support, software engineers, financial advisors, and so on. In case you are interested, you can go to litexchange.com. You can follow us at Lit Exchange app, and you'll see our postings on Indeed as well as on X and other job sites. Just wanted to put that out there for all of you guys to see. So huge news between GNS and NWBO. Wes Christian is attacking the shit out of these shorts, and I am extremely happy to see that happening. Happy to see that happening right now. The United States lost their AAA credit rating, in case you guys didn't know. They were downgraded by Moody's last month, and only Japan's Rating and Investment Information, Inc. is the sole agency recognized and maintaining the highest AAA rating for the United States. I believe both Moody's and the other one, Fitch Ratings Agency, have downgraded the United States. And so what will happen here, folks, in case you're not aware, if this firm, this Hong Kong firm, is forced to sell their U.S. Treasury bonds because they can only invest no more than 10% of their assets in U.S. Treasuries, $166 billion. $166 billion. If this organization, Japan's rating, downgrades the United States from AAA to AA, like Moody's and Fitch Ratings already did, then that will cause obviously some ripples in the actual United States Treasury market. Now, that might not seem like a bunch of money, but think about 16 $166 billion, excuse me. That's every billion is 1,000 millions. You know, what could you do with 1 million, let alone 1,000 millions? That's a lot of money. So when you take 1,000 millions times 166, that's a ton of money there. And potentially we could see the United States Treasury market go no bid. We've seen it happening multiple times already over the course of this year and last year, causing the yields to go up. Donald Trump was fairly successful, along with the U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, in reducing those Treasury yields momentarily. But as you guys have known, over the last 2 months, those 10-year Treasury yields have increased by a significant number of basis points. And if this were to happen here, if these are downgraded, we're looking at a no-bid situation for a lot of the Treasury bill issuance. That's going to lead to a further increase in the Federal Reserve's holdings of United States Treasuries. We're talking about some Weimar Republic shit. We're talking about Japan type style situation, where Japan holds the vast majority of their own bonds and bills, and the Federal Reserve is right on their heels. And a big part of that is what we talked about, what I spoke about yesterday. Excuse me, not yesterday, but I spoke just a few days ago about with Dr. Marco Metzler. Let me play this for you. It's a 1-minute snippet. This is going to air tomorrow at 12:30 Central, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. What do you see happening to the American dream if Jerome Powell doesn't decrease rates?
It would not even help, only delays or accelerates the development. If the tensions continue, there can be external shocks. Then this is definitely the last phase of global financial meltdown. My thesis is that the only way out, that we have to hyperinflate it. But actually, they already made the decision. You cannot prevent it anymore. Of course, it would help to inflate if we would lower the interest rates. It would help only short term, but in the midterm, it would even get worse, okay? There's no other way to get rid of the debt and to continue this way. So you at some point, you have to hyperinflate it, but it has consequences for the society.
There's going to be some serious consequences for the entire world, I got to say. The interview with Dr. Metzler that airs tomorrow opened my eyes to a lot of things, and the fact that the dollar endgame is arriving, whether we like it or not. We've been talking about this for a while, but let's just say that it's been extremely evident over the last year and a half that everything is speeding up, and it's like a runaway freight train. What's going on with the US dollar and inflation has been temporarily slowed down, but the increase we're about to see is going to be exponential at the speed at which things begin to occur, folks. I got to be completely honest with you on that. Also, in case you guys were unaware, the former Celsius CEO was sentenced to 12 years in prison for crypto fraud and token manipulation, Alex Mashinsky. This guy was sentenced to 12 years. He lied to investors about the financial health and the risks of Celsius, the crypto exchange. He used customer funds to pump his token, CEL token, and made $4,800 million pumping and dumping that fucking token on people, on regular folks, retail investors. They used customer funds to pump it so that he could enrich himself. And then they collapsed in 2022. And you know what's funny? In case you guys didn't know, if you follow me on Twitter, or if you've been in this channel for a while, I told you guys that Celsius was going to go bankrupt a fucking week before it happened. One fucking week before it happened. I could take the time to look it up, but it's going to drag my computer down, so I won't do it. You can do it yourself right now. You can type in @BossBlunts1 Celsius on Twitter. Guarantee you'll see my post. Guarantee it. What do you see happening to the American dream? Excuse me. Pause that there. So this guy's got to forfeit his $48 million from his pump and dump scheme, pay a fine, and face civil charges, and spend the next 12 years in federal fuck me in the ass prison because he's a piece of shit who likes to rob regular, everyday, middle-class folks. It is people like this that deserve not just 12 years, but maybe even 24 years. This guy deserves to spend the rest of his life in prison. So yeah, he pled guilty to a count of securities fraud and another count of commodities fraud as part of his plea agreement with federal prosecutors. So you knew it was bad if he was willing to go to jail for 12 years and take a $48 million fine. And he was forced to forfeit the $48 million and pay a $50,000 fine, serve 3 years of supervised release if he lives that long. And honestly, I couldn't be happier to see this happening. It couldn't have happened to a nicer person. Maybe it'll happen soon to other people out there that are, manipulating markets. Other people out there that are, naked shorting and abusing markets. Just maybe. But if not, we're not going to wait for it to happen. Because our goal at Lit Exchange is to safeguard you and your money, right? That is why we're creating this upcoming stock and crypto brokerage to route orders to lit markets, to avoid payment for order flow from price distorting dark pools. And for the first time in the history of the world, that could not be more true. This is the first time in the history of the world that an upcoming stock and crypto brokerage has allowed you to actually own equity shares in the company before launch and before IPO. No other stock brokerage ever has offered a Reg C offering under the Jobs Act of 2012 to retail investors, to non-accredited investors such as yourself. You don't have to be a millionaire to invest. You just have to go do your due diligence, view the pitch deck, the business plan, the filings, all the reports, and decide if this is something that you would like to take an investment in. And then when we IPO, or if the company does buybacks, you can then sell your shares, and have a liquidity event. Let's put it that way. Hey, Carl, it's good to see you. Yeah, Mashinsky's interview with Peter Schiff was epic, says Uranium. Schiff called him out as a shyster before it all came to light. Hey, you could not be more right there, my friend. They absolutely did. You know what? Actually, I'm going to see if I can pull it up as well on my own. Shout out to Christian Shaughnessy for that one, for that video from the former SEC chair in 2007, talking about stock settlements and preventing abusive naked short selling and lending rules. And of course, as you guys know, not a damn thing has changed. They haven't stopped any of that shit.
The SEC.
They've been talking about it for so long, yet it all remains the same. Let's see if we can't go ahead and type in @BossBlunts1 Celsius and view the post that I was mentioning to you guys. Because I literally, 1 week before Celsius went under, told you guys it was about to happen. You know what? Actually, I should search my own profile instead of searching like that. Well, look at that. We are live on X. Tammy says, I can't wait to move my shares to Lit Exchange. Hey, Tammy, it's great to see you. Thank you for being here with us. It's yet again, my friend and partner. Oh, look at this. There's one of the posts. Let me click on it and see if I can open up my post. I think I was responding to. There it is. Andrew responding to it. You called it, boss. Celsius filing for bankruptcy. In response to my post on July 13th of 2022 is when he responded to it. Of course, after the bankruptcy filing. Waiting for that to load up, by the way. Close out some of these other windows since I got about 17,899 windows open right now, which is a little excessive, I got to say myself. All those open. Eagle Eye Production says, I invest what I'm willing to lose. That's exactly right, my friend. Nobody should invest anything in any markets that they're not willing to lose. Okay, looks like this wasn't the exact post. But Andrew here was responding to another post that I made saying that you called it, boss. Celsius filing for bankruptcy, as expected. Huge shout out to you, Andrew. You know what's real. Bad automatons. Another good retail investor there, posting in the same note. But this is taking way too long because I've got so many processes running and windows and tabs and streaming at the same time that I can't open anymore without dragging everything down. It's okay to lie to Congress under oath. I own those clowns, said Kenny G. AMC Bigums said, so GameStop's report, which is a government report, showed the biggest financial heist in the history of the world when $10 billion was stolen from retail, but no arrest was made. LMFAO. Andrew Franchisi knows that we called it well, as you guys do. Yeah, let me see here. I can't, who's that? Is that Lex Motion? Sorry if I can't quite read it because it's dark blue. I was wondering if you invest with you, how much shares or partnership do you get? Can you explain, please? I'm curious. You get a percentage of the company, of course, a fractional percentage of the company, of course. And then when we are going to IPO, you would receive shares in your brokerage account, whether it's Lit Exchange, brokerage, or any other brokerage, at which point you could sell your shares when we IPO. You can sell it the moment it IPOs. You can hold it for as long as you want after we're on the market, or you can sell it in private equity deal to somebody else that wants to buy it from you, or Lit Exchange might even buy it back from you prior to IPO in order for us to be able to profit off the IPO price more so if everything goes according to plan. So I will leave it at that, my friend. Basically, you're buying shares in the company. One unit is the equivalent to many shares. I can't give you an exact number of shares because, for example, if we IPO with 100 million shares total, you'd receive a percentage of that. However many units you got for $500, each unit would be equal to a number of shares. If we were to IPO with twice as many, instead of 100, say 200 million shares, you would then receive more shares. So if we were to IPO with 300 million shares, then you'd receive 3 times as many shares, etc. So there's no way I can give you an exact amount because as we're currently not IPOing today, I don't have a number of shares to give you, right? So that's just not a possibility. But no matter what, it is equivalent to the percentage of ownership in the company that you receive for every unit that you own. So I hope that makes sense. I know it's a little complicated, but securities can be a tad complicated. At the end of the day, for every $500 invested, you get a unit, and every unit is equivalent to a percentage of the company. And you would get a number of shares equivalent to that percentage of the company when the company is going to IPO. Also, as a founding member, you also get first buyer's rights at the IPO price. So if we're going to IPO and you decide, oh, wow, that looks good. The company's grown massively. I see that they've got a lot more users and they're going to IPO at this amount. I could buy those shares now before the IPO occurs. And then when it goes on the market, if the stock goes up, then I can sell the original shares I owned plus the ones that I just purchased to make more money, potentially. Obviously, I got to legally say that there are risks involved and that you should do your own due diligence. You can check out all of the information on litexchange.com at the links there as well. What is your name? Your username is 20 million subscribers, no videos. Bro, what the F happened? I'm driving right now. Well, long story short, Robinhood and Fidelity pulled the buy button on GNS stock, as well as Robinhood got caught naked shorting and abusing retail investors yet again for many years.
Bro, what happened? I was rich, but then my brokerage restricted trading and I lost it all.
Lit Exchange. Let's get lit. No dark pools, no restrictions.
Have a good rest of your day, everybody. Have a good evening. Have a great day. Don't forget to catch this interview tomorrow with Dr. Marco Metzler. It comes out at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time on this channel. It'll be under the videos, not under the live streams. Don't come to the live streams looking for it. Go under videos. It's already uploaded.
breaking all the chains. Doge by his side, they don't play no games. Step into the SEC, watch them all sweat. We uncovering the fraud, ain't no secrets left. Naked shorts in the shadows, they've been creeping. Market manipulation, these crooks been sleeping. Retail's been trapped, but we bring in the fight. Musk and Doge on the rise, taking back the night. We in the SEC, exposing the lies. Rooting out corruption, watch them meet their demise. Free the markets, make them fair once again. Elon and Doge rolling deep for the win. Dirty tricks they try to pull. Short and stocks
check,
playing
check.
games like
Before
a
I go,
fool. But we too sharp.
gotta say
we
one
calling
thing.
the bluff. Elon's got the plan, now the pressure's tough.
We're gonna be so
Retail investors,
fucking
time to get your
rich.
share. No more rig markets, no more despair. Fraud's going down, we taking control. Elon and Doge breaking out of the mold. We in the SEC, exposing the lies. Rooting out corruption, watch them meet their demise. Free the markets, make them fair once again. Elon and Doge rolling deep for the win. We on a mission, bring the truth to light. No more naked shorts hiding out of sight. Retail power, we reclaiming the street. Musk and Doge bringing heat to Wall Street. SEC, exposing the lies. Rooting out corruption, watch them meet their demise. Free the markets, make them fair once again. Elon and Doge rolling deep for the win. Hey, we on a mission, bring the truth to light. No more naked shorts hiding out of sight. Retail power, we reclaiming the street. Musk and Doge bringing heat to Wall Street. Justice in our sight. Markets are free, we restore the light. Elon in the front, Doge holding it down. They can't stop us, we taking back the crown. Frauds uncovered, justice in our sight. Markets are free, we restore the light.